So let's talk about artificial intelligence. You hear that term everywhere, right? It feels like it's promising to change literally everything. But what is it really? Once you get past all the sci-fi movies and the crazy marketing buzz, how is this technology already changing our world, right now? Well, let's break it all down.
Think about it for a second. How does your streaming service know exactly what movie you're in the mood for tonight? It's almost creepy, right? Or how does your search engine seem to finish your sentences for you? Well, that's AI working its magic behind the scenes. And to really get a handle on its incredible power and, its risks, we've got to start with what it actually is.
All right, so first things first, let's tackle the biggest question of all. We need to forget about the killer robots from the movies and all the hype, just for a minute. What are we actually talking about when we say artificial intelligence?
At its very core, AI is really all about one big idea: building machines that can learn, reason, and act in ways that, until now, have required a human brain. Things like recognizing your friend's face in a photo, understanding what you're saying, or translating a language on the fly. The whole goal is to simulate our own intelligence in a computer.
Okay, now this is a really important point. Every single piece of AI you interact with today is what we call narrow AI. Think of it like a specialist. It's an absolute genius at doing one specific thing, like unlocking your phone with your face. But that same AI can't suddenly decide to learn how to bake a cake. The whole sci-fi idea of a machine that's as smart and adaptable as a person in any situation, that's what we call artificial general intelligence, or AGI. And right now, that's still just science fiction.
So the big question is, how does a machine get so smart? It's not magic, I promise, even though it can definitely feel like it sometimes. The secret ingredient, the real engine behind almost all modern AI, is something called machine learning.
And actually, it's way more intuitive than you might think. Just imagine how a little kid learns to recognize a dog. You don't give them a giant rule book, right? You just point out a few dogs, and pretty soon, their brain just gets the pattern. Well, AI learns in a very similar way, by finding patterns in huge, massive amounts of information, not by being programmed with a specific set of rules for every possibility.
Okay, let's use the classic example to make this super clear. Teaching an AI to know what a cat is. Step 1, you basically just drown it in data. We're talking millions and millions of cat pictures. Step 2, the algorithm looks at all those photos and starts to figure out the patterns on its own. Pointy ears, whiskers, that furry shape. And finally, step 3, you show it a brand new picture it's never seen before, and boom! Because it's learned the pattern of cat, it can tell you, hey, that's a cat. That, in a nutshell, is machine learning.
Now, when you get to really complex stuff, we use a more advanced technique called deep learning. This uses something called neural networks, which are kind of modeled after the connections in our own brains. Picture it like this. You give a tough problem to a chain of experts. The first one looks at it, makes some notes, and passes it to the next, who refines it, and so on down the line. That's basically what the layers in a neural network do with data. Each one adds a little more understanding, which lets the system grasp incredibly complex things, like all the subtle nuances in human language.
Okay, so we've covered the how. But what about the where? Well, here's the thing. AI isn't some technology that's coming in the distant future. It's already here. It's completely woven into the fabric of our lives.
Just think about your day so far. That search you just did on Google? AI. That playlist Spotify made you that just gets you? AI. The voice assistant on your phone or speaker that tells you the weather? Yep, AI again. It's constantly in the background learning from what we do to make our lives just a little bit easier. But it goes so much deeper than just convenience. In medicine, AI is a complete game changer. For example, a system called AlphaFold 2 can figure out the complex 3D shape of a protein in just a few hours, something that used to take scientists years. This is turbocharging drug discovery and research for diseases like Parkinson's. We're talking about technology that is literally saving lives.
And if you want to see just how fast this is all moving, check this out. Back in 1997, it was front-page news around the world when a computer beat the world chess champion. Fast forward less than 2 decades, and an AI mastered the game of Go, a game so mind-blowingly complex that there are more possible moves than there are atoms in the known universe. Yeah, let that sink in. Each one of these milestones is a massive leap in what we thought only humans could do.
Of course, all of this incredible power, well, it's a double-edged sword. And if we're going to have an honest conversation about AI, we have to look the risks right in the eye. Now, this isn't about scaring anyone. It's about being smart and being prepared for what's coming.
So, let's quickly hit 4 of the biggest challenges. First, there's bias. An AI is only as smart as the data you feed it. So if the data from our world is biased, the AI becomes biased too. A famous example is a tool called Compass, used in US courts, that was found to be more likely to label black defendants as future criminals. Next, misinformation. AI can create ultra-realistic deepfakes and social media filter bubbles that spread lies like wildfire. Then there's job displacement, which is now coming for white-collar jobs, not just factory work. And finally, you have the black box problem. A lot of the time, even the creators can't fully explain how an AI made a certain decision, which makes things like accountability a total nightmare.
And make no mistake, the stakes here could not be higher. Geoffrey Hinton, one of the godfathers of modern AI, said it best. The exact same technology that can recommend a movie to you could be used by authoritarian governments to manipulate entire populations. This isn't just a tech issue. It's a fundamental challenge to how our societies work.
So where does all of this leave us? It is so easy to feel like the future of AI is just this tidal wave that's coming for us, and we're just along for the ride. But that's not the truth. The reality is that this is a future that we are building right now with every choice we make. And that puts a whole lot of responsibility squarely on our shoulders.
If you take one thing away from this whole explainer, please let it be this. AI is not some alien mind coming down from the sky. It is a mirror. It learns from the world that we have built, from all our books, all our art, all our data. And that means it reflects our most amazing achievements. But it also reflects our worst biases and our ugliest prejudices.
And that leaves us with the ultimate question. Because as we build these unbelievably powerful tools, we're basically forcing ourselves to look into that mirror. The biggest challenge ahead of us isn't technical. It's not about what AI can do. It's a deeply human challenge about who we want to be. So the real question we have to ask ourselves is this: what kind of future do we want our AI to reflect?